Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the electric arc welder and how to use it and do a little demonstration. The idea with the arc welder is you're creating an electric circuit. The welder here, this red box, this hooks up to the power from the house, and it requires a lot of power, kind of like the dryer would in your house. Anyway, it conditions the electricity such that I can create a circuit, and I would create a circuit if I just put these two together. If I just took this clamp and this rod that's connected to the clamp, this clamp here, put them together, then it would make a complete circuit. You have electricity flowing through the whole thing. That's not the thing we're trying to do here, though. What we're trying to do is to create an arc, or an electricity jumping across the air. So if we look down here at this piece of metal I have set up, I'm going to connect, because this is a piece of steel, it conducts electricity, I'm going to connect this, what we call the ground clamp, right here, to the metal, nice and snug, and make sure I have, this metal is relatively clean, it's not all rusty or painted or anything, so you need a good electrical connection between that and that. And if I, then if I took my rod and just stuck it on here, I'd be creating a complete circuit, electricity flowing through the whole thing, right? But what I'm actually going to try to do, and this is the tricky part of welding, is to get a contact here and then pull it away just a little tiny bit. Get a little tiny gap between the end of this metal rod and this metal here, the metal I'm trying to weld, and a little arc of electricity, like a little piece of lightning, is going to jump between this and there. And that's going to be hot enough to melt this piece of metal. It's going to be hot enough to melt the other piece of metal I'm trying to weld together. And it's going to be hot enough to actually melt the rod. Now it's a little hard to tell from the view you see there, but this is actually a piece of metal, a steel rod, and then it's coated with this white coating. It's got the white, they call it flux coating. And what the flux does, it somehow helps make it possible to maintain the arc, to start the arc and keep it going when you're doing the arc welding, and it burns away and creates inert gas around the weld while it's molten. That inert gas helps keep other gases from getting in there and like infiltrating the weld. Okay, so this is going to create some smoke on purpose right there while you do it. Okay, so that's the this. So I'm going to clip this into the clamp, right? And I've got my ground clamp on already, and because this throws so much ultraviolet light, I'm going to need a welding helmet, and the welding helmet has a nice dark shade, like a super dark pair of sunglasses here on this thing. I can flip this up and see through clear glass, or I can plop it down, and it's like a number 10 shade there. So it's like super dark sunglasses, even though there are even darker ones yet. This is probably just right for this kind of welding I'm doing. And of course the big shade then also shields my face from the UV light. Okay, so I'll get that in place, get it all ready to go. I'll get my power turned on. Now I've got it right down here. Before I put my helmet down, I'm going to get it real close to where I want to do the welding, right? And then last thing, pull the helmet down in place, and now I'm going to make the arc. Of course, it's always hard to get it started a little bit. Come on. Okay, now I'm going to do another one on the other side, or in this groove right here. So I think that one was actually too hot. I can see it burning holes through the thing.
Where?
Okay, here we go again.
Where?
Give that a second to cool off. Yeah, that isn't too great. But now the trick too is once you have finished welding, you actually have a buildup of they call slag over top of the weld, and you have to chip that away. So I'm going to use my helmet with the shade up and do a little chipping here. Okay. Yeah, I did have, you can see there I burned a little hole there. I'd have to go back at a slightly lower amperage and fill that back in with some metal to make it strong. But definitely got some good welding going on there. The whole idea is to get both of the pieces of metal to melt along the edge and the rod, and all of that flows together to create a weld. When it solidifies, it's like one solid piece of metal. And if you do a good job of welding, this connection between these two pieces of metal here will be really strong. So that's called shielded metal arc welding.